Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Main Street Finance Podcast. I am, of course, Alex, your host, and today is a short and sweet episode about Dave Ramsey's favorite topic, the best method to pay off debt.
You're listening to the Main Street Finance Podcast, where we take the Wall Street bull by the horns to help you achieve your financial goals. Whether it's budgeting, investing, or financial independence, we tackle the big questions in the pursuit of financial literacy. And now, your host.
So, after a fun week of back and forth with Jason over at Finance Hippie, we basically decided to call it a draw on our back and forth. Essentially, we were arguing semantics, and there is no right or wrong answer. Neither of us changed the other's mind, but honestly, I enjoyed the experience. Throughout our debate, I had to make a new spreadsheet to support my claims, look up research, and essentially geek out over finance, which is my favorite thing to do besides annoying my girlfriend. So, shout out again to Jason on Twitter, who is at Finance Hippie. His link will be in the description below. Feel free to go and check out his financial content. It's pretty good. So, today's topic is on the subject of debt payoff. The two most popular methods of paying off debt systematically are called the Debt Snowball and the Debt Avalanche. Before we go into the details of each, I'd like to make a note. No matter which method you decide to adopt, you cannot throw out the other personal finance pillars in your journey to become debt-free. You still need to be tracking your spending, you still need to maintain your emergency fund, and you still need to be contributing enough to your 401k to get your company match. If you don't track your spending, you may end up overspending on your debt paydown and then having to borrow money to pay a bill. Or you may even start overspending in other categories because you're too focused on budgeting just for your debt paydown. You have to maintain your emergency fund. Now, hear me out here. You should not use your emergency fund to pay off debt. If you put your entire emergency fund towards your debt, and then you have a sudden ER visit, a flat tire, or literally anything else that could possibly go wrong in your life, you will have to put that expense on a credit card or take some other kind of debt to pay for it. You shouldn't have to move backwards when paying off debt. Just don't touch your emergency fund. The next one is a bit controversial and is against Dave Ramsey's traditional advice. Dave Ramsey recommends stopping all of your investing until you're out of debt. I disagree. I say to only contribute enough to get every free dollar that your company will give you. And my reasoning is simple. Credit card debt may cost you 25% in interest, but losing your company match means you're losing out on a 100% return. You are mathematically better off getting that match than paying credit card debt. If you don't get a company match, I'd still recommend contributing at least 5% towards your retirement until at least all your credit card debt is gone. Once you're out of the super high interest debt, I'd say go ahead and bump up your contributions higher. Quick note, I am not a financial planner and I don't know the specifics of your situation, so unfortunately I can only give general advice here. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the first of our methods, the Debt Snowball. The Debt Snowball is rather simple. Write down a list of every account and debt that you have separately and arrange them from smallest to largest. So, for example, Chase credit card, $750, Citi credit card, $2,000, husband's car loan, $15,000, wife's car loan, $19,000, and home mortgage at, let's say, $150,000. Once you have this list and it's in order from smallest to largest, you begin by looking at your budget and seeing how much per month you can put towards extra debt payments. You then pay that entire amount on the smallest debt and just make the minimum payments on the rest. You continue this until your first account is completely paid off. Now, here's where the snowball comes in. Now that that first account is paid off, there is now not a minimum payment needed on that account. This means that you should now have extra money each month to be able to budget. So, for example, once you pay off a car loan, now you have an extra couple $100s a month to put towards your next debt because the car's paid off. You don't have a payment to make. So then you just move on to your next smallest debt and throw everything you have at that one, which should be more money than what you threw at the previous debt. Again, while making minimum payments on the rest of your debts. You don't want to skip payments on stuff. make the minimum, and we're just talking about the extra amount that you want to put towards debt. This method is called the Debt Snowball because at first, you only have a small amount of money to go towards the extra debt payments. But once you start paying off your debts and closing the accounts, you have more and more monthly cash flow to put towards the next debt because you have less payments to make. This is Dave Ramsey's preferred debt paydown method. The Debt Avalanche is almost the same, but with one major difference. When you sort all of your debts, instead of sorting them from smallest balance to largest balance, you sort them from highest interest rate to lowest interest rate. Typically, this means credit cards first, followed by equipment loans like four-wheelers or boats, then your car loans, then your home loans. You start with the account with the highest interest rate, and you start your snowball of throwing all your extra debt paydown money at the first one while making minimum payments on the rest, and then you move down your list in order of interest rate. So now that I've explained the two methods, which is better? Honestly, they are both solid debt paydown strategies. The answer is, it depends. Like with most personal finance hot topics, there are two ways to answer every argument. There's the side that makes the most mathematical sense, and then there's the side that makes the most psychological sense. For example, the great finance debate of should you pay off your house or should you invest first? Mathematically, it makes no sense to pay down a 4% house loan when the average stock market return is around 9%. However, can you honestly put a price on the security you have with a paid-off house and being able to just about never get kicked out of your house? With debt paydown strategies, we have something similar. With the Debt Avalanche, you pay off your debts with the highest interest rate first. So mathematically, you will pay less in interest with the Avalanche and have all your debt paid off faster than you will with the Snowball because you knock out the expensive stuff first. However, the Debt Snowball has psychological benefits. With the Snowball, you're paying off the smaller debts first. Because of that, you're going to pay off your first couple debts faster. Now, what this does is it gives you some early wins, and it gives you a boost and a voice in the back of your head saying, hey, I can do this. Look at the progress I've made. I've already closed 2 accounts. The earlier wins and faster first results are why Dave Ramsey prefers the Snowball. The psychological boost is thought to help people stick with the program longer, and they're more likely to get all their debt paid off than people doing the Avalanche. As far as I know, this hasn't been proven, but this is the general thought process. So those are our two methods, Avalanche or Snowball. Which will you choose? Personally, I'm more of an Avalanche kind of guy. Your interest charges are going to pull you back from your success. They're essentially a 2 steps forward, 1 step back sort of arrangement. But if you can pay your credit cards first and make it a 10 steps forward, 1 step back, you're going to get out of debt faster and you're going to get out of debt cheaper. So if you can focus on your debt balances shrinking and not how fast you're closing accounts, then I would say the Avalanche is better for you. Honestly though, if you just follow the put all your extra money towards one debt and pay the minimum on the rest mindset and you're able to follow through, it truly doesn't matter what the order of the debts are. Some ways you order it may cost you less in interest than others, but personal finance is personal. You may have a debt that's more emotional to you that you want to have that one gone first. Perfectly fine. There's no police that's going to come after you for not strictly following either the Snowball or the Avalanche. All of this needs to be taken with a grain of salt. These are your finances, and it's your life. Sit down, think about your options, and do what you think will work best for you. There's no shame in switching strategies midway through the process or making your own. As long as you're moving forward and getting to a better place, I'm happy for you. And with that, I've been Alex, and I'll see you all next week.
Thank you for listening to the Main Street Finance Podcast. Have a question on today's topics or have suggestions for future episodes? Send an email to mainstfinance@gmail.com. Sharing is caring, so if you learned something new and useful today, make sure you share with friends and family. Don't forget to like and subscribe to be notified of new episodes. For demonstrations and more examples, be sure to check out the YouTube channel. We'll see you next time.